Hello Sagittarius, your turn for July reading. Hope you all are well. Alright, dates to keep in mind. July 2nd is a solar eclipse in Cancer. July 16th is a lunar partial eclipse in Capricorn. So keep in mind those are dates that could affect us on a long term, especially if you have any Capricorn or Cancer placements. Also, Mars is going to be in Leo of July the 1st. And right now, currently, a lot of the planets, I didn't say this in other videos, but a lot of the planets are going retrograde. So keep that in mind, because I feel like since the retrograde has happened, things aren't clear. Like my processing isn't clear, like when I think or speak. So you could have some issues with that. Also technical issues, paperwork not getting, moving forward if you're trying to move forward something. So do be mindful that with these retrogrades can come up delays and things not going forward. And that's really hard for Sagittarius, especially you guys are all about expansion and growth. So do be mindful with the changes with whole retrograde and stuff. So anyways, I did pre-shuffle the cards. Hopefully someday I'll get organized, more organized than this. But anyways, let's get into your reading. Sun card in reverse. The Queen of Wands. The Hermit in reverse. The Five of Cups. So usually when I read the cards, I just go put them all down. I'm just going to do it like this and gradually put them on there, so it's more one-on-one. Alright, Sun card. So I feel like you're not in your element this month, especially it's Cancer season, so do be mindful with that, with the changes. You're not in your element. Sun card's also about it is reflection, especially if it's in reverse. I feel like you're reflecting on something that is being brought to light, or you're about to see something being brought to light in some form or dynamic, whether it involves with work, money, your financial security. I know some of you have been struggling with that as well. How do you get this outcome of being ultimately, giving to others and receiving of yourself? So do be mindful of that. And now Queen of Wands, I feel like that's, you're coming from a place of trying to observe your surroundings, observe the situation, whatever is going on for you in July. Queen of Wands, you're taking courage, you're taking heart. You could be dealing with a Gemini. Gemini got this card. So you're observing something, and that is the Hermit. So you're not taking full action on something, you're just kind of like observing, hermiting, taking in information. But I feel like you're kind of in this uncomfortable situation when it comes to the Sun, and then it comes to hermiting. I think some of you've gone through this period where you know what's been going on, the struggles. It could be a work environment, it could be an uncomfortable environment where you're going to really have to step it up when it comes to your authority. Some of you take on high demands, especially with work, leadership, or you're surrounded by this energy where you really don't know what to do, but just kind of, go with it, stay in your balance, especially, you're not in your element. So you could be hermiting, you could be doing a lot of introspection, a lot of healing. Some of you have been going through that. So I feel like with this month, observe your surroundings. Don't take any action this month. Observe. And then the Five of Cups. So there's losses, there's things you're still trying to process, especially when it comes to healing. The Hermit's about this journey, this man who goes into this mountain, this cave on the mountain, and discovers himself. And I feel like You know, it's easy to get into this place of responsibility of taking care of others. But if you don't take care of what's necessary when it comes to your self-growth, when it comes to evolving, when it comes to transforming, I just feel like you really need to focus on, you know, healing those parts and those wounds that need to be healed and address them. Because it looks like there's some losses you're looking at. Like you don't want to lose something. You could be in a relationship, maybe with this Gemini, that you don't want to lose anything because of your authority in some form of dynamic. Alright, so 9 of Swords, 4 of Wands, King of Cups in reverse, and the World. So yeah, you're having anxiety about something when it comes to, you know, your happiness, when it comes to an uncomfortable position that you're in, maybe, and you're feeling like you don't have what it is, or you're feeling not lost with something, like you're in the midst of this situation dynamic, could be a work or family situation, or you're uncomfortable, you really can't shine, but you're doing the best you can to take on this energy. And I feel like some of you're not really being honest with those around you because it's too painful of experience. So I just feel like you're struggling with this. It could be a workplace, and I feel like if it is a workplace that's getting you in this energy, or if it's a lover or something dynamic where you're in authority, you really need to, you know, cut your losses out of this situation and find something that works better for you. But I feel like what you're afraid of and what you're fearful of is if you lose something in the process. You know, this is general reading. It may not apply to everyone. Then 4 of Wands. So it could have to do with a marriage. It could have to do with something that you've been putting time and effort in it, but it looks like it's something that's giving you anxiety. Then 9 of Cups to love. Yes, it's love. But also too, it could reflect on something needs to be reorganized in some way, so you don't feel like you have to give more than you have to give, or, you know, your energy is not in the element this month. And the World card. So coming things full circle, things are changing in your dynamic, especially when it comes to love and relationship. There's things that you want to begin, I feel like, but for some of you, you're uncomfortable about something. It could be a past situation that's got you stressed out. Then the Chariot, the Lovers, the 6 of Cups. Okay, yeah, you're fearful of a direction that's unhealthy, I feel like, for some of you. Because I knew this person, I'm not going to lie. I knew this person, me and him had an issue going on in the past that was unhealthy. I'm just speaking, so don't mind me. And you're looking at the past tense, so that's what made me think of the past. So yeah, you want to start something new with someone, but I feel like the past is involving this issue. But I knew this guy once. Me and him worked at this place. It's not something I really want to talk about, but I feel like it needs to be addressed, especially in this reading. You could be working in an environment. I know I was working with this guy. He was a Saggitarius. It was a very uncomfortable situation, especially when I left the job place, because I wasn't supposed to. I could either let him continue working, because I wanted to work at the place, and I can continue, let him work, and then or I could not even work there again, because I was trying to get a job at the same place I worked before, and it wasn't working out because the guy would have to leave his job and leave his position, and I don't even think he knows this, but If it wasn't for me letting him still work there, he wouldn't have been working there. But yeah, it kind of still hurts, the whole situation. I'm not saying this is the reading. I'm just seeing it in some cases. Because I think last I looked, he's actually a manager at the place now. But anyways, I don't want to get too sidetracked with that. It's like, if you're in an uncomfortable position, which that's what I'm feeling, where you have to do work, you have to do something that involves you stepping up, but there's this past involvement, and I've been feeling it like for a long time. The past is affecting you in some form or dynamic. It could be with this Cancer. And that's so weird that it popped up like that. I don't mean to get this too personal or whatever, but I just feel like things need to be addressed here. Especially if you're starting to feel like you're in a uncomfortable work environment, or you're uncomfortable, you don't have the energy or the stamina to deal with this. But there's a lot of releasing that needs to happen. I think some of you have been doing a lot of healings where others aren't really addressing it. Maybe you're not addressing it to your newfound love that you want to spend your whole entire life with. But I feel like, you know, if there's something in your life that needs to be addressed, then you can't move forward properly. And especially if it's closing out the past. So I feel like if you want this newfound love, you have the Lovers here. That's in corporation to Gemini. You really need to address the hurt. You really need to let the past go. But as far as what I experienced with this one person, it was very painful for me, because ever since then, I haven't been able to find a job. Which has been very difficult for me, because I'm not jealous that he's still working at the place in any way, but I feel like this could help one of you if you're struggling with this. I just feel like he kind of, like, he didn't steal it from me. I'm not saying he stole the job from me. It's just what I get, because there was a conflict between me and him I don't really want to discuss. But yeah, it was not a good work situation between me and him, and it ended up, you know, I left because I didn't want to cause any issues. It felt uncomfortable working there. But I noticed a while back, you know, I don't usually do this. I looked on his profile, and apparently he's working still at the place. But also he's a manager, and it kind of eerie me, because I was feeling like, if you had a confrontation with someone in the past and it almost, you could have lost your job, I would not want to work there. I mean, I don't think he watches me on Facebook or anything, but I just feel like if you're in an uncomfortable situation where the past is coming up, I don't think it's a good place to be there. And this could be a total different story of what's happening. You could be dealing with past issues of need to let go, something that drained your energy, something that puts you in this hermit energy where you couldn't fully express yourself. But I just feel like if it helps someone, it helps someone. But yeah, I had a bad situation with a Sagittarius one time, where I had to leave the job. It wasn't required, but I didn't feel comfortable working there. And so it's like, years later, I'm finding out that he's the manager of the place kind of eerie me, because you can easily forget where you're at. Like, why the heck am I here? Why am I here working as a manager at this place when, I don't know, I've had so many past issues. But I think what's involving here, and I don't know if this is anybody's situation, I'm just saying, I would not want to work there. I don't know. It just irritates me, because I'm not saying he'll get in one of those situations, but I don't think it'd be comfortable working there, knowing that someone you worked with, there was not a very good situation that happened. You know, I don't want to admit it, but yeah, there was cheating. And I am not proud of it. But it's something that needs to be addressed for the healing process. I'm not saying this is what happened to you. You could be, you know, going through a different thing. But I wanted to address that because it's coming up in the reading. So, and I know of another Sagittarius, things happen, you know, in a family dynamic. I don't really want to talk about either, but I just feel like if you're in a situation that makes you uncomfortable and you really don't have happiness in it and it's draining you and depleting you, and I think money's involved. I want to admit that. I think money's involved for you to keep doing what you do because you don't want to lose money or you don't want to lose this connection. But I just feel like in order for you to honestly heal from a situation, you don't need to be a part of it. Because what are you doing to yourself when you're rehashing it? I just feel like if you're in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, it's not going to better you. It's just going to bring up these past wounds over and over. But I do want to address, I think some of you, not all of you, but the one that I'm talking to in particular, you know, this guy, I think he is doing it for the money. He has really no other prospects or anything. So I can understand in that situation. I'm not, you know, in his defense for that. You know, if he feels like he has to make money there, but ultimately I would get the hell out of there years later because that is unhealthy. And then, you know, finding out he's going to get married, and I don't know, there's a lot of past issues going on here. I feel like just in general with the reading, you know, you want to move forward with this lover, but I feel like there's things holding you back from the past that were unnecessary, and I just feel like you're not going to be able to move forward with them until you release this. And I think you need to be honest with yourself. For so long you've carried on this idea that, you know, I don't want to be alone, or maybe you need someone to get out of a situation. Like maybe they are someone that you know, you rely on because you have no form of income or no form of way to live, so you have to depend on them. And I really feel like some of you, it could be a codependent situation. I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I just feel like if you're in an uncomfortable situation this month, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I'm just being honest. But if it's a different situation, I'm sorry if it got too personal. Just how the cards popped up. I was not even expecting that. I'm like, woo. Because I have thought of it before, but also too, something I'm not happy about. Because I don't think he will ever know how hard my life has been since, you know, I've left the place. That I've actually given him the ability to work at the place. But it was sad too, because I knew ultimately I wanted him to keep working there because I didn't want him to lose his job. And I don't know if he ever knew that, but it just breaks my heart. It makes me want to cry right now, because it's like, ever since then, I've never found a job after that. Which I'm not saying it's going to be a temporal thing. It's just something that I personally had to go through. Not having a job. And I feel like maybe in some way that's a punishment on my part. Maybe because I cheated in a work environment. But I'm not saying it's for everyone. Everyone has their own stories. But I just wanted to share my story. Like I said, I didn't even plan for the cards to come up, and I had to address it. So I'm sorry if it wasn't your type of reading, but I feel like if there's something holding you back from moving forward, you really need to focus on, you know, what's ultimately going to make you happy. But I just feel like you're focused too much on other people and money. And it's a codependent issue going on, I feel like. A few other Sagittarius I've known, you know, they're with someone just to be with someone. I'm not saying for all of them, but I've known a few other Sagittarius myself, and it just kind of hurts because I like, you're kind of lying to yourself. You know, you're not really ultimately happy with someone if you're just in it for the money, you know. And then I know another Sagittarius, she's single and stuff, but she's still going through things, so many things, but she's not even ready for love. But yeah, if you're in a work environment or any type of situation that's codependency, I just feel like you need to be honest with yourself, like, why are you in the relationship if it's just codependent? I know me personally, yeah, me and my boyfriend do depend on each other, but not for the sole purpose of being with each other. You know what I mean? Like, we're with each other because we love each other. We're with each other because, you know, we want to light together. But if you're in a work environment that's unhealthy, if you're tempted to do things in the past, and that's what I'm worried about this guy. What if he makes the same wrong choice? And that would be so much pressure. I'm just speaking, you know, speaking from an open heart. Wouldn't that be stressful, working in an environment where you cheated with someone and now you're the manager? I don't know. I'm not belittling that, you know, putting him down anyway. I just feel like it would honestly be uncomfortable to work there because there's so many pressures, and then you get to choose who you hire. I don't know. It's not my place. It's not my business. I'm just saying, I think it would be so much uncomfortable to work there. But yeah, I cheated with this guy a few years back at a pizza place that I worked at, Little Caesars. It was a very uncomfortable situation after that happened because I was really good friends with him. I liked him and stuff. I was married at the time, but it was really bad because a lot of the things that, you know, my husband wasn't there for me for, he was there for me. He would actually listen to me, and, you know, he was going through girl troubles and I would always listen to him. But I just feel like it's ultimately not a good situation to be in if, like, years later you're still there. It's like, dude, haven't you moved on? It's like, I don't know what's keeping him there. I don't know. I just feel like if you're in a toxic situation, you need to get out, because what is it benefiting you in the long run? You know, I don't know. I'm just worried about him. I guess I should pray for him in some way. I don't always pray, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm worried about him. And it's not the fact that I cheated and had experience. The fact that, you know, as a friend, I wouldn't want someone to work there if they've been through all that. And do other people know about the situation? I don't know. It's just weird to me. Anyways, sorry if that was too much of a reading, too personal, but I just feel like if there's something in your life that is toxic and that's not very healthy, you know, you should get out. Anyways, I hope that resonates to someone. Anyways, bye-bye.